Hi, I'm Naomi and I love books. Come with me.
Hello, would you like to see a new book? This is The Amazing History of the Deaf Academy, which comes from the Royal Deaf Academy based in Devon. Now, and was written with the children. I really like this illustration style with the large eyes. Let's have a look. So the promise is that you're going with two students from the school into their archives. We get the timeline, not just a timeline of the school, but a timeline of deaf education in Britain. It's nicely done with really lovely comic illustrations, um, without being too mean about oralist education. There's good reasons for being mean about Heinecke. Uh, and the text says it all here. Heinecke started formal deaf education in Germany. He thought the best way to teach deaf children was through speech and lip reading. He made his pupils taste unpleasant foods such as vinegar to encourage them to make the correct mouth shapes. I think actually that's quite mild compared to some of the things he did do. Did all sorts of things to try and make children who could not hear sound speak. And of course, this is before there was any hearing technology too. So it kind of nice, really quite nicely done, the oralist and sign routes. Lepe is just a, a hero of um, deaf education and accepting of sign. Then it looks at Charlotte Hipsley Tuxfield, who set up the school, and the building of the school. I think this book was written around the time that they moved from their old sites in the original building and into their new builds. So they've moved from Exeter to Exmouth, I think. So yeah, we've got an explanation of the Milan Conference, which for anyone who's not in deaf education is the point at, is a conference of hearing teachers of deaf children who where deaf teachers of deaf children were excluded. It does say that one deaf person was invited. I'm not sure who that is actually. And the focus of, deaf people need to learn to live in a hearing world, without an understanding of actually to learn to live in the hearing world, you need good language, you need good communication. Um, so we've got looking at how many deaf teachers of the deaf were excluded from deaf education because their language was sign. It it does talk about some of the really cruel things that were done to prevent children from developing their natural sign language, and the renaming of the school. And I find it quite shocking that it wasn't until 1939 that the word dumb was taken out of the name of the school. So then you've got the rise of the civil rights movement and changes in acceptance of British Sign Language. I think it's quite shocking to realise that British Sign Language was not recognised by the UK government as a language in its own right until 2003. but it really does show the change. Looks back at schools for the deaf over the 80s, and then at some of the how the closing down of deaf schools made a difference. Interestingly, it doesn't mention the specific changes that were linked with where schools for the deaf are now working with a more complex group of children. I love this little boy with the green hair. He's lovely. And then at what happened during the time of COVID, and how they adapted. Then starts to look to the future. And it's lovely to see how these children really do represent the diversity, both the diversity in the school and the diversity of Britain, and the diversity of styles of hearing equipment. And some of the ideas of what they want to be in the future. Then we've got some of the some deaf role models, Rose Ellis, Raymond Antrobius, who he's the writer of Ken Bear's Ski. Yeah, check in my playlist if you'd like to see my review of that. It's got Garth Waite, who's the punk chef. And then we've got a nice glossary. Overall, absolutely lovely little book. I think it most definitely is a book that doesn't address the ways that many deaf children do learn speech and good speech skills, and how that is not a black and white, that access to sign does not prevent you learning speech, and we now know that deaf children who are given sign support develop their language and understanding through sign language, but that does not prevent them learning speech. In fact, gives them concepts to hang spoken language on. But overall, a lovely little book, and very specific to the history of schools of the deaf in Britain, which I think makes it quite unique. Thank you so much for listening to me go on about my books. I really appreciate it. And subscribe, or Padme will come and get you. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.